Hey Danielle, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, we've already went over our informed consent last time, but just to refresh, anything that's said here stays here and with me and in my notes. The only reason that it would go anywhere else is that if you had expressed to me that you felt you were a danger to yourself or others, but I don't want you to be afraid or nervous to express those feelings to me, because even if so, we would always try to find a way to work through those feelings together and come out on the other side. So do not worry. What do you want to come in and talk about today? What are you feeling lately?
I've been dealing with some off-putting feelings because of my mother.
Oh, what's been going on there?
I don't believe I've talked to you about her yet. To make a long story short, we never had the best relationship as I was growing up. And then once I got to a certain age, she kicked me out of the house because one of my old friends had been lying to her about a bunch of things. I tried to be in contact with her for a little bit, but it just wasn't working out for me. So we've been no contact. I'm just starting to get stressed out again because she's been trying to break no contact.
So just to get a little more clarity on the situation with your mom, what made you choose to go no contact overall? What was the breaking point there?
So it started out, it was like smooth sailing, I would say. But as time went on, she would start manipulating me in her messages. She would say lots of things, and I just didn't really like that.
I'm so sorry. It's completely fair for you to not want to have any of that. Protecting your peace is one of the best things you can do, so I think that that was a very, very mature and very hard choice to make on your part, but clearly it was for the better, because afterwards you did start to have a lot better time with your mental health. In what ways has she been trying to contact you now and break that contact? No contact, sorry.
She tries to contact me through my brother. She'll call him, if I change my phone number, she'll call him and ask what my new phone number is, or, you know, if I block her on like a social media, she'll make a new account to message me. So it's mostly just through like social media, Facebook specifically, she'll try to message me, and I try not to respond. Yeah, so there are times where I would consider crafting a message for her and trying to send it to her, but I find that I make those messages when I'm in a fragile state of mind. So typically some of the stuff in the messages I probably shouldn't be saying. So I figured it's best to just not break that no contact. And it just stresses me out because sometimes I think about the old times with her when things were good, and she would take me on vacation. She would bring me a whole fruit platter of exotic fruits. She would do this and that. And it sucks, especially seeing my friends with healthy relationships with their parents, especially their mother.
So what I'm hearing is that when your mother does reach out, you do feel a need or almost a sense of want to reconnect and rekindle, even though there is that no contact, because there was that time where everything was very good and you have all those memories with your mom. Speaking on your friends and going back to your friends and their parents, do you have any support systems in that area? Any other family beyond your brother? And you mentioned your dad before. Do you have any friends' parents that you're able to lean on at times?
My partner's parents are very good to me. His mother is like my mother at this point. We're very close. I've talked to her about my issues with my mom, and she's starting to step into that role, which has been really nice. Like, a lot of times we'll watch a show together, even if my partner's in a different room. We'll go out to the mall and we'll just do things that mothers and daughters would typically do together. So it's really nice to have that. It's really nice to have my dad, because he basically takes both roles of mother and father. I mean, even on Mother's Day, I still give him presents and flowers.
That's so sweet.
And I do have a couple of my friends who have actually been in my life, like even before my mom kicked me out. So they have met her, they know me, they know our relationship, and that makes it a lot easier to talk to those people because they know from the beginning, so I don't have to explain everything to them. Other than that, I don't typically talk to people about it.
Well, that's completely fair. It isn't a topic that you open a conversation with or anything. It is something that it's when you get to quite a deep level with a person, but it is good that you have support systems in your home, in your life, in your home, that understand that relationship, understand how it's been affecting you. What do your friends do? What does your dad do to support you at those times where it gets really hard and your mom is trying to come back into your life and you're having to put those boundaries back up? What does that look like?
So with my dad, it's typically a nicer conversation. Usually, well, at the beginning, when I would talk to him about these feelings, the conversations could get vulgar. But as time went on, he starts to understand that as much as I say, oh, I hate her, I don't like it, he understands that I still have love for her no matter what. So he supports me. He'll tell me to do what my heart says. Whereas my partner has a completely different approach. It is always vulgar, but sometimes I feel like I need that. Because the last thing I really want to do is actually contact her again. Maybe in a few years down the road, but for now it's too much. So with my partner, he'll usually talk me out of it, and he supports me through it, which is nice. If I'm really stressed about my mom one day, he'll bring me down to his mom, and he'll be like, all right, let's throw on a movie. Let's watch one of your girly reality shows. So he just, even though the conversations are vulgar, he tries to push me and help me out in the ways that he can.
And that's good. At times we need to be pushed because it's easy to fall into those emotional places and let our emotions get the better of us. So it's good that you have people that push you to stay within your boundaries. Do you think there's anything that we could come up with here, maybe a little plan we could come up with for when your mom's trying to contact you, so that you have some steps to turn to and a plan to turn to help bring yourself to a place to keep those boundaries strong?
I think one thing that could help is distracting myself. I'm the kind of person where if something is stressing me out, that's all I can focus on. I can't do anything else. So I feel like if I start to feel like I'm getting a little too emotional about my mom, I can distract myself. There are some things that I like to do, I just haven't put them, like I haven't executed that during these emotional times.
Why do you think you haven't used those in those times? Is it just that your brain is so focused on what's happening?
I think it could be that, especially because if I'm starting to feel a trigger, if I don't take care of it right away, then that's when it gets worse and then I can't deal with it. So I feel like I need to find that common ground between when it starts and when it gets bad. And I feel like that could be the perfect time for working on some coping skills.
You seem to be very in tune with your emotions already and knowing, like, this is when I feel the trigger and I know I just need to find that sweet spot. Where do you think that sweet spot comes in, almost right before that point where you're just gonna fixate?
It's like I feel like a switch.
A switch.
So for example, like, you know, if she messages me, I have maybe a couple minutes to think about it, and then it's like I feel, it's like an electric pulse through my body, and then that's when I know that I'm not going to be able to distract myself after that point. So I only have a couple minutes of grace before it typically gets bad.
And is that fixation part of the reason why you don't delete the message in the moment? Because I know many people that will delete and just ignore completely, but is that part of the reason you fixate and try to think of, can I formulate a response to this rather than just ignoring it?
I would have to say so, yeah. I don't typically delete it. I like to let the message sit there as well, in case I come to my senses and I realize I do want to send it or I don't want to send it. But at the end of the day, I really just don't want to send the message as much as like the inside of me wants to.
Well, hearing some of the things you've said today with the fact that you acknowledge that now is not the time for you and your mom to reconnect, maybe further down the line, I think maybe we could create a plan if you're comfortable and if you're ready to do that, with maybe finding a way to push out part of that. Well, maybe we could make this work, because as you've acknowledged here, you would rather do that further down the line in a few years, maybe not even a few years, but just further down the line, not in this time. So maybe we could come up with a plan where we just kind of find a way to tap more into our boundary part of ourselves, and we stay strong in our boundaries, because we do have to protect our peace at the end of the day. And if you do find that time and time again you've came to a place where you're like, you know what, I don't need to respond to this, we could find a way to come to that conclusion a little sooner, maybe.
Okay.
So when you come to the place of, I'm gonna stay in my boundary, we're not gonna reach out and contact her back, and we're gonna stay in the no contact space, what are the thoughts, or what are the encouragers from other people? Because you've said your boyfriend has been a good help in that. What are those statements that really help you stay strong in those boundaries?
And when it comes to contacting my support systems, it's typically my partner I reach out to first. That's only if my dad's not around, like he's at work or he's busy. And then with my partner, he'll try to remind me of the same things, just in a bit of a more abrasive way. He's never mad at me, he's just mad at the fact that she tries to cross my boundaries over and over again. So he's more of like a tough love, and he tries to snap me out of it, and he usually ends up being soft and saying, do it when you're ready, like if you feel you're ready now, I'll be here for you. So it's very nice to be able to talk to these people about it, but I still stress out about it all the time. I feel like there are some things that they can't particularly help with.
And there are times at life where it's gonna be, just comes down to you and your final decision, as much as you can take in as much advice and perspective from everybody else. It's gonna come down to what you wanna do and what you need to do. It's really good that you've developed coping mechanisms to turn to for yourself when you're on your own, you don't have your support system, and that you do utilize that support system, because it's very, very important, pardon me, that we connect with the people in our lives and we use them as support at times, because we can't do it all on our own. We can't take it all on our own. And with all of the stresses that you've mentioned that are already kind of affecting you right now, and everything you have going on personally, do you feel like it really is a good time to reach back out to your mom when she tries to break that no contact?
I wouldn't think so. I feel like we both need a bit more time, but she specifically needs more time to, I guess, think about the way that she acted and the way that affected me. And I want her to understand why I'm not reaching out to her.
So I think a goal we could set right now with that would be building coping mechanisms to turn straight to keep strong in our boundaries, rather than letting that empathetic part of us kind of come into the situation. Because it is great that you have that empathy and that you are a very empathetic person, but this situation with your mom, and at this time, it's not the time to use that empathy, because she's not in a place to receive it properly and build a relationship from there, it seems. And so I think if we develop some of those coping mechanisms a little more to turn straight to when she messages you, and some of those coping mechanisms with your support system a little stronger, then that could help What am I saying? Develop some of those coping mechanisms a little stronger, and that could help kind of cut down.
And you could also ask me like what I think could also work, because I have a couple statements for that one.
I was gonna also bring up the book I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Oh, by Jeanette McCurdy?
Freaking, okay, ready? Think of like where I left off and where I can like pick up from for the cut.
I know, it's hard. How do people edit videos all the time?
God, right? They have scripts written.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think if we can start to develop some of those coping mechanisms for the boundaries a little more, then we could kind of hush some of that empathy for now and explore it at a later time when your mom's more open and receiving to actually building in a positive way and not just reaching out for manipulative purposes, as you've said before. So what are some things that you use? You've mentioned that you will listen to stories to help kind of distract yourself and put you in a different mindset and perspective about it on where it could end up one day. You said that you have told yourself the fact that, like, I know I'm not ready with all of these stressors happening. What are some mantras you think we could develop from there? Or what are mantras that you've already been using that could help you?
Is a mantra.
A mantra is like, like saying like fake it till you make it and stuff, like something you can tell yourself quick and easy to help you like brush off a feeling like, oh, it's water off a duck's back.
Oh.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like little things to help you cope in the moment. Like statements you can, how like positive affirmations?
It is not the time. That's none of my business.
What?
Those are my mantras.
Oh, okay. Ready?
So this one can be viewed as a little unserious, but sometimes when something happens and I don't want to deal with it, or I don't have the capacity to deal with it in the moment, I say that it's none of my business. And then I try to distract myself. I feel like something else that could work for me is if I see a message come in and I'm not doing anything, I'm not busy, then I could just get up and go have a shower or have my own personal concert in my bedroom, or I could go on a walk and get some fresh air. I feel like those are some things that might be able to help me.
I like those ideas. I think those are pretty good ideas because those are something that can just take your mind right away from it. And maybe we could even get to a place where you see the message and you're like, oh, whatever, delete, we're going to deal with all of that at a later date. But that takes time and building. But I think that that's a pretty good plan for now for personal. Now, when it comes to your support system, do you ever reach out to your boyfriend when it happens, or do you only speak with him or your dad if they are present?
I only speak with my dad if he's present, or if I'm out of the house, I'll send him a quick text and tell him I'll elaborate on it. And with my boyfriend, it's usually, if we haven't talked in a few hours, I might not tell him right away. But if we're having a conversation or we recently talked, then I'll send him a text right away and I'll be like, hey, my mom messaged me with this, I'm spiraling.
Okay, so I think if you ever are in that place where you're spiraling and no one is home, I think it is good that you reach out and you get in contact with them, even reaching out to some of your friends that have been there in the past and understand. I will send you off with some resources today for some lines that you can also contact. If you are in a place and you don't have any of your regular support system too, then you can contact them. So I would like to leave you with is a book. The title is quite jarring. It's called I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. She has, like you mentioned, a tumultuous relationship with her mother, and you expressed how you enjoy looking into stories about people who have those similar experiences. And so maybe reading that book will help you, seeing her experience and seeing how she came to terms with certain aspects of it might help you start to see those thought processes and see like how you could maybe come to terms with things even. Is there anything else you'd like to talk to me about today? We touched on your mom breaking no contact, how you utilize your support systems, how you utilize self-soothing yourself, which is amazing, that you already have a pretty good sense of how to regulate your emotions. But is there anything else that you'd like to talk to me about today?
I think we pretty much covered everything for today. I feel a weight off my shoulders.
Okay, well, hopefully we can start implementing those goals when the time comes. Hopefully your mom does not try to breach the no contact soon, but if she does, hopefully we can utilize those goals we've set here today, and I will see you next week then.
Okay, thank you so much for having me in today. It was really nice to get all of this off my chest.
Oh, thank you for coming in, Danny, and thank you for sharing everything. It cannot be easy, and I admire your strength.
Thank you. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.